What's poppin', guys? Garrchampion here, and this is going to be one of a few videos where the coach of the Charizard Champions and I go over everybody's final teams for the season. Trades are officially over. Free agent pickups are officially over as well. So we get to look at everybody's final team, break it down, and then rate it. So guys, all the timestamps will be down below regarding, which team we cover, so you can easily go to your favorite team or a specific team if you so choose, as well as links to all the other videos kind of included in this. We broke it up into like a few videos because it's a little long to put it all in one. So yeah, definitely look forward to those and the links when they go live. So thank you guys for watching, and hey, feel free to rate and comment your thoughts on a particular team, multiple teams, or just anything you feel like commenting. So thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day, and peace.
Lakeside Ledybas. We got Goldango, Ribombee, Iron Treads, Basculin M, Basculegion, Thunderous Incarnate, Screamtail, Braviary, Grafii, Pelipper, Poliwrath, Probopass, Spide Ops.
All right, so the first off, the Basculegion, the gender actually makes a difference because they were drafted two separately. Because one is a physical attacker, and then the other is a bulkier special attacker.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It was really weird. I didn't know it until I looked it up.
I did know that fact about the Hisuian Basculegion.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, like the Hisuian Pokemon just over my head. I knew that. I don't know why I knew that, but I knew that.
Yeah.
I just hate that they male and female both evolved from Away One.
Yeah.
So we got another rain team here.
But it wasn't meant to be a rain team. When talking with Kay, it just so happened that Pokemon vibed with picking up Pelipper and what was this? 1, 2, 3,
Pelipper,
4,
Poliwrath.
5, 6, 7, 8. 9th round Pelipper. 10th round Poliwrath. Like,
Yeah, back to back.
that wasn't, yeah.
It was nuts. So
Yeah.
good observation on their end for noticing that and snagging it. So yeah, let's talk about hazards. Actually, I want to address the lack of hazards because freaking Goldango with Good as Gold just shuts down Defog and Rapid Spin.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Goldango has so much going for it. It's no reason why it's the golden Pokemon.
Exactly. Number 1000.
But we get Sticky Webs from Ribombee. Iron Treads does get Stealth Rock. Screamtail gets Stealth Rock. Found that out the hard way. I think Grafii might get something.
Probopass probably gets them all.
Definitely Spikes and Stealth Rock.
Yep.
Spide Ops is another
Sticky Web.
Sticky Web. Yep.
And honestly, I don't think we've seen Sticky Webs used from...
Nope. Ribombee did bring Sticky Webs once. We did see Sticky Webs used once.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind then.
Yeah.
So... But yeah, then screens.
Screamtail gets them.
Okay. Not many users that get both.
No.
But I don't think this team really needs screens, per se.
Not really. There is a good balance between Pokemon that are capable of taking hits with offensive threats.
Yeah.
And also just Pokemon that can be an offensive threat based on just how fat they are. Probopass is a perfect example of this. Probopass has shown it to be a very prominent Pokemon based on its abilities and stats. Its base, I think it's got base like 130 special defense, which is nuts because you think of Probopass and you go, dang, that thing's physical defensive. No, dude, it's special defensive. Oh, I mean, it is still physical defensive, 145 and 150 special defense.
Yeah, so it covers both.
Yeah. And then it gets a naturally high special attack stat at 75, which like isn't crazy when you think about it. But when we did my match, it tanked a focus blast from Thunder Asterion, and then retaliate killed with no investment in special attack power gem.
Mm-hmm.
So like these lower tiered Pokemon are definitely showing very high promises if they're unchecked.
Exactly. So in terms of synergy here,
It's
let's
weird because like things just don't look like they go together really well.
Mm-hmm.
But with abilities and then the typing does come into play.
We got a lot of good pivot Pokemon. Thundurus, Braviary, Pelipper like to switch around a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the obvious synergy is Rain. That's what you first think of.
Yeah,
but
because you
it's
see
really
Pelipper and you're like, dang, this is Rain. But this team does not need Rain at all to function.
Mm-mm. No, I think it's been coached really well.
Poliwrath, gets it. Swift Swim, it makes it a little more viable. But Poliwrath has a very lackluster move pool, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really get to benefit that much, and it doesn't have for Belly Drum. I don't think it really has a way to set up.
Might get bulk up, but
Yep.
It does get bulk up.
But that's not super prominent. But it's situational, really.
Yes, it is situational. Because he's got for being a stage 2 Pokemon, very minimalistic stat spread. Like, nothing super low, like 70 for special attack and speed, and everything else is 90 or 95. So it's like, it's okay. But if it just had the ability for, like, if it got Sword Stance with Swift Swim.
Yeah, it'd be nuts.
Be nuts. Or the ability to get Aqua Jet for a priority move, or even Mach Punch. I know it doesn't make sense because he's just a toad and he's not fast.
Aqua Jet makes sense.
Aqua Jet makes sense, especially with Swift Swim.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be a bulkier Pokemon for this team. It's got Water Absorb. Not that you want to use water too much against this team, but the fact that it just gets an immunity, like we already talked about, abilities with a Pokemon with immunity abilities are just great in themselves. Yeah. It kind of sucks that it's already a water type, so it just resists the damage anyway, but being able to get HP back, I mean, we see that with Vaporeon, and Vaporeon's a very, very strong defensive Pokemon, which actually was not picked up this season by anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Screamtail was a good pickup for this team. It added just the good amount of bulk that this thing needed. This team needed just that more of a designated wall, and boy does Screamtail help that.
I have a
yeah. Go ahead. No, go for it.
No, I was gonna say I have a really fun set for Screamtail, but I don't want to.
Oh, you don't want to give the sauce out.
Exactly. I don't want to give the sauce.
This Pokemon gets amazing supporting moves with Wish, Encore to like just stop setup. It's crazy fast at 111, and then 115 HP, 99 defense, and 115 special defense. So it's just this really fast wall, which we don't see that a lot. Like when you think of a wall, you think of low speed like Milotic, who's got like crazy good HP, a solid defense stat, and a very good special defense stat. Where in this case, we have a crazy HP Pokemon, a really good speed stat, an amazing special defense stat, and a very solid defense stat. So like this Pokemon just is a great wall. Now it's not doing damage to anything, but you're not killing this thing very easily.
Mm-mm. I also wanted to call out too, there's not many teams who have ability to Wish Pass, and this is one of them.
Yeah, we didn't talk about with Jirachi with the Lake Superiors.
Yeah, and then my team too.
Yeah, Wish Pass is great.
You know, it's just always a nice support option. And it goes off of the user's HP that gets it.
Oh, I
So-
didn't know that.
So, like, if that's why my Aloma Mola is so good, because it goes off of Aloma Mola's HP stat
Oh, that's
when,
nuts.
when they get the wish.
So-
And
so this wish
Jirachi's.
from Springtail would be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
So,
Unfortunately, we've seen that even though Iron Treads, you know, is a really good offensive Pokemon, it just hasn't been able to really roll through anything
mm-hmm.
too much. It's because it's like one of those Pokemon you just prepare for. So, and it's always a solid Pokemon to bring.
Mhm.
Like, it's going to do damage to something. It's going to weaken a wall. It's going to
Mhm.
be able to do that extra bit of damage. It just is unfortunate because it hasn't seen the success of what it's capable of, because Iron Treads has it's fast.
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
I think it's like like in the teens.
If you would say 106, you'd be right.
Okay, it's close to. I was gonna say
Yeah.
110, but like,
Yeah.
but yeah.
All these Paradox Pokemon have really unique spreads
Mhm.
for their stats. So like Iron Treads here, 106 speed, 90 HP, 112 attack, 120 defense.
Mhm.
So like, and it's 70 base defense. So like Assault Vest is always a good thing on this thing. And then obviously the booster energy is just crazy on any of these Paradox Pokemon.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. I don't really think we need to go over walls. It's pretty obvious that, you know, Probopass
Yeah,
can be a wall.
Yeah, I kind of did that
Screamtail.
with the energy. Golden Go itself is just a wall.
Yeah. Made
Who
of
cares
coins.
about that? It's amazing.
It is. So yeah, let's go ahead and rate the team here.
I'm gonna give this team a 7. You know, it's got just enough bulk to hang in long game, and enough to wear you down that the attackers can do what they need to do. We didn't talk about Spidops, but obviously Spidops was a big threat against my team
Mhm.
that I just did not know about, and just being able to use those abilities right makes this team crazy offensive and also defensive at the same time.
So this is where I have to shut my bias down. I'm gonna rate this team a 6. But what makes this team so good is the coach.
Yeah,
You know, like
I will.
in the hands of this coach, 9.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the record shows it. But just
Yeah,
if some random other person had this team, I doubt they'd have that record.
the success. Yeah,
You know?
definitely.
Like it just,
Yeah.
you know, it just kind of goes to show, like, you know, a coach, you know, just how somebody uses and utilizes the team, you know, could really make or break, you know. So
I would agree with you if I'm bringing the coach into this scenario. I would agree with you. It's a solid 9.
yeah, you know, but just looking at the raw Pokemon, 6 to me. But yeah, you know, so I think it's still a good team though. You know, Blake.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, we're gonna go on to the next one. Next up, we have the Vaultin Veluzas, and their team consists of Lando T, Galarian Weezing, Ditto, Cyclizar, Zoroark, Hisuian Gudra, Corviknight, Hisuian Electrode, Typhlosion, Masquerain, Quagsire, and Houndstone. Let's start with hazards here. Obviously, Lando T can set up rocks. We have
Galarian Weaving gives you toxic spikes.
Toxic Spikes. Masquerain can give you Sticky Web.
Yeah.
Quagsire,
And
I
then-
believe, can give both. Toxic Spikes, Toxic Spikes, and or rocks.
I'm just gonna give an honorable mention to Corviknight because of its great mirror armor ability.
Mhm.
It's not magic bounce, so it doesn't do hazards back, but all of those status moves get bounced back, which, you know, in a sense they're hazards. So
It's another thing we haven't talked about with having a grass-type Pokemon being immune to Spore or Sleep Powder.
the only reason that we haven't talked about it is because there's only three Pokemon with Spore, and only one of them have been drafted, and they haven't gone for Spore. So Spore is just not on the table.
Wow, no Sleep.
No Sleep.
They banned Sleep from OU on
Yeah,
I
we
know.
talked about that.
Yeah.
In the Discord.
crazy.
Yep. So in terms of removal, we got Galarian Weezing with Defog, unexpectedly.
Yeah,
We have Cyclizar with Rapid Spin. Corviknight with Defog. Yeah, I think that's about it. So we have good amount of hazard removal from the team as well. And then in terms of screens, this team's never used screens, I don't believe.
Yeah, I think Galarian Weezing might be the only Pokemon with screens. No, Hisuian Electrode gets screen. I think it's light screen.
Yeah. Every time we've seen it, it's been offensive.
Yeah.
And then
Oh my
Synergy.
god.
What?
Base 150 speed, dude.
That thing's
Hisuian-
nuts.
Nuts.
So Synergy. I wanted to personally touch on this because
Yeah.
this team is hard to break through. It really is. I mean, my battle with him was 35 minutes for a reason. You know, I had a lot of stupid typings that just were immune to each other that I had to get rid of slowly. You know, so like it has the steals, the fact that it has one flying steel and one grounded steel. You know, you can afford to have two steel types at that point.
Yeah.
You know, and especially Hisuian Gudra being
fill
dragon.
Two different roles. Hisuian Gudra is very fat, especially where you have Corviknight, who's very fat physically.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just nuts.
Yeah.
I'm personally preparing for my match with the Veluzas. I battled them this week, and typing wise, this team is crazy.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of overlapping types, but we got immunities built in. Landorstarian is just always a solid Pokemon. It's I've seen different things review it as it's OU's love child because it's just used on everything. It's no wonder that it was like a first round pick for them. Galarian Weezing was gonna be the fairy type that I wanted to pick up after Alolan Ninetales to have just another good fairy type. Poison Fairy's a Galarian Weezing. I thought Pheasantipity was the only one. So someone in the comments is gonna call me out on that.
We'll see.
Yeah, and then you got to be careful on setting up because Ditto just comes in, you just slap Choice Scarf on it, and it's just now you're your own worst enemy.
Exactly. You know,
It's the Spider-Man meme.
You know, it definitely gets in your head when prepping.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So does Zoroark.
Yeah, I mentioned about that when we talked about David's team because he got Hisuian Zoroark. Disguising, Typhlosion as Zoroark or something like that, where like you get an immunity on Flash Fire, so you think you're free for going for something else. It's just Illusion's great.
I will
Zoroark
say
is great Pokemon.
it's very tricky because if you swap, like let's say I swap in like mid battle into Zoroark, okay, and for some reason whatever Pokemon I switch out of was in like the last slot. Next time I go to use Zoroark, it's gonna be plain Zoroark. It really just depends on like where your switches are, because I've had Zoroark just come in raw. I'm like, hey, that's not cool.
Also, looking at this team, he doesn't have a good, like a solid, amazing Zoroark pair to pretend to be.
Yeah.
Usually I like to pretend to be a fighting type
Or a ghost type.
or a ghost. He has the Houndstone, but he's only brought it once. It's not that great.
Yeah. Zoroark disguising itself as a fighting type is hilarious because you go for a psychic move, and
Or
it's
fairy.
just or fairy type, and yeah, it just gets
Oh, the fairy's bad.
fairy is bad because it's weak to fairy,
Yeah.
but then you don't want to go for all those fairy moves because Corviknight and Hisui and Gudra, they want to eat them.
Mm-hmm. That would be a really good Zoroark illusion copier.
Yep.
And we've only seen it 3 times, so we haven't seen it too often. You know, let's see here.
Looking at the Pokemon they've brought, it is a good mix of their Pokemon. Obviously, they brought Gudra and Corviknight for obvious reasons, just because they're monsters. But there's been a good mix of everything else. The one of Houndstone and Ditto, I get it. They're very situational. Yeah. I think overall this is a solid team. It's not super offensively a threat, but it will wear you down to where it could get picked off.
Yeah.
I think this team would be better if it had more prominent setters for hazards, because this team does do a good job of forcing those switches.
Yeah, the double dragon, and also double steel. Hard to hit those guys. You got to switch out.
Yeah. Now it is funny because both those dragon typings are also weak to fighting. But you got Landorus, Therian that looks at fighting attacks, and Wheezing.
Yep.
That's 4 times.
And Mass Brain.
With Intimidate also, yeah. Houndstone. So, I think this is a very solid team.
Yeah. So if we were to rate this team, this is another one. It's hard for me to be biased because I've already played them, and it was one of my favorite matches of the season. So I really like the Gudra and Corviknight core. I don't know. I would say 7. I don't want to say lower than 7 because I don't want to downgrade like the power of like Ditto and Landorus. But I would say 7 is pretty fair.
I'm gonna go 6.5.
Adam's thinking.
Yeah, I think I'll sit on a 6 for this one. No, I'll go to a 7. It's like I said, it's got enough to force you to switch. Like I said, this would be an 8 if they had a way for more hazards to be prominent for them. But the natural bulk that this team has between Gudra and Corviknight is crazy good, and then Galarian, Wheezing, and Thundurus or Tornado. Landorus, good grief. We've been doing this for too long.
I know, right?
It's fantastic. So yeah, I'll give it a 7.
Okay. All right. Well, there's our scores here, and we're gonna go on to the next one. Oh, with that said, you want to do the intro or the the team breakdown, because I started recording already.
Yeah, here we go. DC United Tyranitars, Walking Wake Tyranitar, Dondozo, Cresselia, Zapdos, Slacking, Lowland Dug Trio, Sylveon, Weavile, and Hisuian Lilligant. As I was saying before, I didn't realize David was recording. You dirty man.
I can edit that out. Don't worry.
No, totally fine. I don't care. It's Forrest's team. I crapped on his team. I don't care.
Yep.
He lost to me, who's like horrible in this league right now. Like I said, this is a classic just Forrest team. I'm not trying to be biased, but this is just a solid. You got a couple things that can take hits, but then you got the Pokemon that are always going to come to damage you, aka Zapdos, Walking Wake. Those two are coming no matter what you're doing. Hazards wise, Tyranitar and Dug Trio are really the only things to set hazards.
Yep.
Cresselia is really the only Pokemon that has access to screens. But almost all of these Pokemon... Oh, I can't say that because no. a good amount of these Pokemon definitely have setup built into them, like Walking Wake. Hisuian Lilligant was a pretty cool pickup that they made. Defensively, it's just really bad, but offensively, Victory Dance was pretty cool.
I'm just shocked it
It's
hasn't been
definitely
brought
something
more.
that you gotta prepare for. The reverse of Quiver Dance for physical Pokemon. That's nuts.
I think it's the only defogger on the team.
Yeah, that was another thing. They did not have any way to remove hazards until this Hisuian Lilligant game.
Yeah, because Zapdos is one that did not get Zapdos, did not get defog back.
Yeah.
So.
But taking a look at synergy for this team, Zapdos and Cresselia carry this team in the defense department.
Oh yeah.
I can't really say the same for Dondozo because Dondozo hasn't performed how it should with how bulky it is.
Typing bulking is really good too. Pure water
is nuts. And Oblivious is a great ability for it. But if you, and this is where the draft format really shines. If you know that they're bringing this thing, you just have to prepare for what this thing can do. And like how I did Alolan Ninetales after Royville, this thing does nothing to it. So just being able to hit it for weakness, especially on the special defense side where it's the lower stat, it's not that crazy, but I can see why this thing is so high on the point scale because of the natural bulk and what this Pokemon can actually do.
Yeah. I also want to say too, Tyranitar has been a good wall. He's been playing it as a wall versus offensive.
Yeah, Tyranitar is always that unique Pokemon that can do many jobs because of its natural bulk, and then it gets that natural increase to special defense because of a Sandstorm, which is nice. And then all the access to all the setup moves, and like it's crazy because you can also do special attacking Tyranitar because it gets Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Fire Blast. So it's like Tyranitar is just that utility Swiss Army knife. You can also, in a niche situation, do the hidden ability, Unnerve. Yeah, because how many times you want to bring a something to reduce the rock damage? It's usable. I can see it being very prominent for it.
I'll bring up Harvest again.
Yeah, again.
Shuts down Harvest.
Great. Yeah. I wish he would have leaned more into Sand for more offensive Pokemon going forward.
Does have the Jug Trio with Sand Force.
It does, but that's one Pokemon out of the entire roster that gets to benefit from Sand.
Looks like he picked up a ton of heavy, expensive Pokemon. So if he picked up like one or two low-end Pokemon that just are random and have a really good ability under Sand, it would have been more beneficial.
Yeah, I'm seeing that now. Yeah, you're right.
Houndstone
everything is a
been
double
good.
digit. Everything's a double digit here, except for the Slacking and Doug Trio, which were both drafted to specifically be Terra Captains. Because we were required to have them. But also I kind of have to just mention Slacking is just a threat. Like you have to bring something to check it. You can't just not respect Slacking. Yeah, it's got the worst ability in the game, but it's also freaking crazy strong.
Yeah.
Like unless you're a ghost type and you know the Giga Impact is coming, like no one wants to take it. Like even like rock Pokemon that have crazy defense, like that's still a crazy amount of damage. Because Slaking has more base stat totals than most pseudo legendary Pokemon. Yeah.
Let's see here.
But going over synergy wise, I don't really see too much synergy with this team. There's not a whole lot of immunity going on here for what's happening, for what they need. Like I said before, Cresselia and Zapdos and Tyranitar, if they're being used defensively, that's really the defenses of this team.
Mm-hmm. I think
Everything
a Sunsetter would have been more beneficial.
Yeah, to really use Walking Wake way more aggressively. Yeah, I think you're right. If
And
they
Hisui and Lilligant.
Oh, true, because it gets chlorophyll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that definitely, because Torkoal and Ninetales were still on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have a fire type, so it would have just covered them more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to devastatingly rank this team if we're ready to rank.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to rank it a 4. Just because of how predictable the Pokemon are going to do. All of these Pokemon, besides a couple, like Tyranitar, Dondozo, not even Hisui, but Walking Wake, like a lot of these Pokemon are single trick. They do this one thing. So, because they don't have a whole lot of versatility on having Pokemon like Tyranitar that can do multiple things, I'm going to put it at a 4.
I'll be a little nicer. I'm going to say 6.
This team reminds me of the AI Biden versus Trump match, where Biden's like, "You just got this team and downloaded it straight off of Smogon." So this looks like a team downloaded straight off of Smogon. I'm going with a straight 5.
4, 5, 6.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's still good bulk to this team, good offensive power, and I think there's a little bit more versatility than you're giving it credit for. Oh, what's that?
You can state your case.
Yeah, I know. I know. You know, this is all subjective, just to remind everybody, you know. So your guys's could be different, you know. So if you feel that any of these scores differ from yours, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And with that
let
said,
us know what you think the teams are.
Exactly. So we're going to jump right into the next one. And next up, we have the Home Heart Bun Honey, the Hearts Homeless. Yoda, I am. No, anyways. So we have the Heart-Homeless Honeybuns. I am sorry for butchering your team name half the season, but I finally got it. Apparently he's not. But no. Yeah, sorry about that. But we're good now. So, in terms of roster, we got Tinglu, Dragapult, Meowscarada, Rotom Heat, Volcarona, Dashbun, Serena, Galarian Slowking, Articuno, and Dimplin.
I just want to make a mention here because we haven't talked about it because it's a niche rule. But you have the rule that all Pokemon must be brung to one battle by the end of the season.
Yep.
And this team and one other team are the only teams left that have not brought all of their Pokemon to a battle yet.
Yep. So for week 7, they will have to be bringing the Galarian Slowking.
So
and they have
preparing for them.
Yep. So I do know to prepare for that Slowking.
Yeah.
So in terms of hazards, Meowscarada can set up Toxic Spikes. Tinglu can set up Stealth Rock.
Yeah. Luckily, when I versus team, Tinglu was not on the team, so hazards became more relevant after Tinglu came on, which is really nice. But I think after only those, I don't think there's any other hazards here.
Yeah, and the only way to remove them is with Rapid Spin on Serena, I believe.
Yeah, let me take a look here.
And if Rotom gets Defog, I can never remember.
No, I looked it up. Rotom does not get Defog.
Okay, I don't know why I'm just cursed with.
I don't think Volcarona gets Defog, but we could be wrong.
Yeah. If it does, then that's a plus. But also a waste of move slot.
Yes.
Screens, we've seen that prominently used with Articuno as one of the Terra captains. So
Articuno definitely screens. Dragapult, I believe, gets springs because Dragapult is just this utility Swiss and army knife of just fast move pool. Rotom gets light screen. Dash Bun, I don't know what this thing really gets.
I don't know if it really needs screens. It just sits there and takes fire attacks and boosts its defense.
It's well-baked body.
Yep.
No screens.
Yeah, so that kind of falls... That's a good segment into the synergy for the team. It's surprising that Dashbun made its first appearance, given that it can easily absorb a fire attack for Meowscarada and benefit from it. The Articuno.
Meowscarada is obviously one of the biggest attackers for this team. Hearing it in its kills, and if that's the strategy, make sure Meowscarada has the ability to get swapped out to live for longer.
But there are other options though. The Tinglu, the Dragapult, Rotom, all three of those can resist fire.
Yeah,
you're right.
But just given that there's three Pokemon on the team that are weak to fire, I would think it'd be Brockmore.
Yeah, I can see that. Also with it being such a good defense Pokemon, just really being able to capitalize. Volcarona's really good, specially defensive. So this would make sense to be physical defensive.
Yeah. But yeah, what was I gonna say here? Just having some flying types, and levitate, it does help with the ground immunity and just ground in general. Now, I don't think ground is necessarily strong into this team, but it still has those free switch-ins.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, you have 2 immunities to ground with Articuno and Rotom. Which is nice.
But only 2 weaknesses.
But only there's only 2 weaknesses to ground. There's not when I prepared for this team, there wasn't a clear weakness to the team that you could just take advantage of. This team does really good by having multiple typing put on the team.
Yep.
And then the overlapping typing really benefits itself. The Rotom Volcarona. Those two complement each other kind of between Volcarona not wanting to really take Earthquake, but Rotom can do that for him, and so it was difficult to prep for this thing, but I think Dragapult hasn't really been used to its full potential. In most draft formats, Dragapult is the first 1 or 2 Pokemon to take in every season, no matter regardless of what we're looking at, just because of how crazy the typing is for Dragapult and its move pool. It's just an amazing Pokemon all the way around. It's got I think it's the second or third highest base speed in the game, just behind Regieleki, who's 200, and Fluttermane, but Fluttermane's not in this draft league because it's crazy, but Fluttermane's got 135 base speed. So this thing just is crazy fast. Can be a physical attacker, can be special attacking, and it gets utility moves like Will-O-Wisp, Thunder Wave, U-Turn to just be a menace. And I just don't think it's really shown how great it can be.
I got something for you.
Hit me.
I think it's not doing so well because Meowscarada is doing what its job does better.
Yes. Okay, I see exactly what you're saying. Because Meowscarada is that fast, come in, kill you,
and get out.
And and get out. And Mousecrata does have those same utilities to it with being able to U-turn out. Its protein ability gives it stab on whatever other move it wants to go for. So you can get the stab on U-turn. And then Flower Trick is just a crazy move. A move that can just always crit is nuts.
Mm-hmm. So, that's why I think that Meowscarada is outshining the Dragapult, because they're choosing to use Meowscarada in place of the Dragapult.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah.
Now, if these two were on two different teams, those two Pokemon, I think we'd be seeing similar results with Dragapult.
I think you're right. I think if Dragapult went to a team that needed that little more, like if Dragapult was on like the Lakeside Superior, or not Lakeside, but the Ladybas, what? Oh my gosh, nuts! Just the crazy things that could happen with that.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. Mousecrata is just doing what Dragapult likes to do, but Mousecrata just is edging it out.
Yeah, it does it a little better, honestly. Yeah. It's not as fast.
That does bring in the next topic. Is it doesn't even need any setup Pokemon, because you have those two super fast heavy hitters that just take out everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, but then you look at the setup Pokemon that you do have, scary as crap. Like Volcarona getting one Quiver Dance up.
If they don't have rocks up.
Oh my gosh, like that's terrifying on its own. Volcarona has always just been a huge offensive threat. Its very unique typing of Bug Fire hits a lot of Pokemon. And it's got a pretty decent move pool to cover itself.
Giga Drain.
Yup.
The Articuno, maybe the Volcarona, have Tailwind to help the rest of your team be fast.
We have seen Articuno use Tailwind.
It's very good.
Definitely more support Articuno versus offensive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, something that we haven't seen because Galarian Slowking hasn't come. Chilling Reception. I did not know this was a move. And what it is, it's a switch move that Galarian Slowking gets that sets the snow.
What?
Yeah. I have no idea.
Wait,
it's great.
Is that a reference?
It tells a bad dad joke.
Shishimudi Island Slowking. I think it is. Slowking, because
I ran the Chilling Reception. I don't think I did on Galarian. I think I did it on normal Slowking, because Galarian Slowking wasn't out yet. But I ran a dual weather team, and that was my hail, or my snow setting. My snow setting.
I wish I would have done more research, because I could have used this Pokemon so much on my team. This or regular Slowking. I did not know that this was a move. And the fact there's no other Pokemon that can do this, where you can switch and set a weather and get out.
Yep.
That in itself is nuts. And the fact that snow gives your ice types a boost in defenses, Articuno could become very, very scary with just having its own defenses boosted. And then I'm pretty sure Articuno also gets freeze dry. So hang on, I'm pulling up Articuno right now.
Hurricane.
Yep, Hurricane, Haze.
Blizzaga.
Yeah, I mean, it could be crazy. It gets Sandstorm. Articuno gets Sandstorm.
Well, I guess it does what it wants, I guess.
Yeah. So that's cool in my book. Like the fact that Galarian Slowking gets this very unique move that it shouldn't get, but I'm pretty sure it's just a reference to the Shimoudani Slowkings.
Yeah. So how would we rate this team? Me personally, I would probably just say another 7.
Um,
It has good setup sweepers. It has a few good walls, and it has, you know, 2 Pokemon that can easily pick things off. Endgame.
yeah, I'm gonna go with you on the 7, just because there's enough bulk here to chip down for the cleanuppers to do their job.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, with Mouse having 17 kills.
Yep. There are 2 reasons I'm giving this a 10. The 17 kills from Meowscarada and then the Galarian Slowking.
Well, there we go. First 10 has been awarded. So, all right. And we have one final team to cover. I wonder whose it could be. All right, so we're going to dive right into it.
But certainly sitting at the bottom of the barrel, the Charizard Champions. Alolan Ninetales, Baxcalibur, Hisuian Corphish, Ambipom, Charizard, Espeon, Milotic, Hisuian Decidueye, Thundurus T, Bisharp, and Lokix. Let me just say, I have been all over the place this season with where my team sits. I've used all my drops for this that was allowed for free agents. I did try to trade with the Ball Rollers to get Ice Cube. I was prepared to give them Levincia or Ambipom, and they did not want to take it.
Well, maybe they want to use Ice Cube. Or they're going to have to, actually.
They have to. They
Yep.
have to. I like my team. I don't think my team is bad in any sense of the matter where it sits now. I am in my head, and that's where that comes into play. A lot, I just overthink or I don't do the research that I need to because I've lost so many Pokemon this season to not knowing what moves or abilities that Pokemon do. And that's just me. But I think by paper, this team is pretty good.
Yeah, you have the Snow Core with Alolan Ninetales, Baxcalibur.
Yeah.
Those are
And
top
the
tier
only
picks.
The only thing that I wish I would have done was capitalize on a few other Pokemon that could be with Ice. Like, I wish I would have drafted Ice Cube, because Ice Cube would just have been a total menace. I wish I would have gotten Titan.
So the Titan
just
was actually picked up relatively early.
It was, but it got dropped the same time that my last pickup was happening. And I think I did a really good job with drafting high tiers with low tier Pokemon. Like, I don't have any 1s or 2s sitting on the board, but I feel like it's done pretty well. And I did take a lot of feedback from the other coaches. Like, I talked a lot with Kay and Hayden and you about what my team is lacking, because Hayden really showed me like what was really what I needed to do with my team, and then Kay kind of helped me clean up a little bit with the low kicks pickup here. But I enjoy my team. I don't think there's not a single bad Pokemon on my roster. I just wish I would have capitalized on the ice more with the draft.
Now, I will say, if you were to try to capitalize with that, then you leave yourself predisposed to be weak to certain types.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
That's true. But I would have also relied more heavily on the Aurora Veil. Because the just getting +2 to all the defenses with Aurora Veil with Snow as additional boost is pretty crazy. Like, Baxcalibur lives so many moves because of Aurora Veil that it's nuts.
Now, if you do bring it all the time, then it's going to be easily planned for.
Yeah,
you know,
but I have it.
Yeah.
I have it. I have gone weeks where I did not bring Baxcalibur or Ninetales. They both, and what's funny is I've brought them separately before. But it's something that you have to prepare for, really, because Bax Caliber is crazy. I didn't really care. My first 2 weeks, I was really regretting what I drafted for my first 2 picks. They were more influenced by some people at work that I was talking with, and they told me, like, oh, Aurora Veil Ninetales with Bax Caliber, and I was like, oh, I can see how good that is, and I was like, yeah, I'll go for it. And then Hisui and Quillfish were those 3 were actually the Pokemon that I wanted going into this draft. Like, those are the Pokemon that I was like, these are what I want on my team. I've seen how good Hisui and Quillfish is with Evolite. And I do not regret having that as a Pokemon on my team.
Mm-hmm. It's a good wall.
A very good wall. So let's go over our criteria here. So we got hazards, right? So Hisui and Quillfish obviously is my big hazard setter. And really my only hazard setter that I rely on. Bisharp, I think, does get Stealth Rock.
I'm pretty sure it does, yeah. Because King Gambit does.
Yeah. And that's really it for hazards.
What does Hisui and Decidueye's standard?
His move is a triple arrow, is a chance to lower the defense by 1 and a chance to flinch the opponent. It does not get to set up any crazy things like Samurott does.
But it does get scrappy.
That's
a fighting move?
And it's a fighting move, yeah. Which makes it really cool because a lot of ghost Pokemon actually don't want to take fighting moves.
No, Goldengo, perfect example.
Poison with Gengar for the longest time.
Yeah, Goldengo is a perfect example of the Hisui and Decidueye. Hazard removal is basically non-existent on my team.
Espeon is Magic Bounce.
And that's about it.
Fish has the poison to switch in to get rid of toxic spikes.
It does, but I don't have defog on anything. Oh wait, Hisui and Decidueye does get defog. I haven't brought it. My Hisui and Decidueyes have been brought for very specific things, and hazard removal is not one of them. But I have a lot of setup here for things that can happen. Obviously, Bax Caliber is a huge setup Pokemon. Base 147 attack stat is nuts. And then you get access to Dragon Dance. Outspeeds so much. It's got a really weird base stat speed of 87. So at +1, it outspeed. At +1 with very minimal investment at 160 when I brought it against the Lakeside Superiors, a +1 outspeeds a fully maxed out Hawlucha at 118 speed with only 160 invested in it, which is nuts. So having that, Ambipom does get access to Nasty Plot.
What?
And so Technician. So there is some sets of like Nasty Plot, like Water Pulse. Bullet Seed is like another like odd move that gets. Charizard can set up. I tried to bring that week 1. Charizard hasn't really done much since week 1. So Espeon can set up. It gets access to Calm Mind like normal. I don't think it gets Nasty Plot. Milotic sadly doesn't get a way to boost too much, which is sad. It does get Coil, but that I don't need to run.
What you want.
Yeah. Hisui and Decidueye does get set up. We saw Thunderous Therian set up. And then Bisharp does the set up. Yeah, so look at more than half my roster here just gets set up. Like just a setup. I think that might be what my big problem is. Like I just want to set up with everything. They come in, I want to set up.
Well, how would you rate your team, Adam?
Honestly, I think this is one of the more poor drafts that I've had, where you say that you loved your team and how great it is. I don't think mine's that great. I think I should have done more research for what I was drafting. Now, at the end result for what I have here, I am happy with it. This team does make me happy. There's like, obviously, I like drafting Pokemon that I like to use or that I like personally. So normally don't draft Pokemon that I don't like, just because I'm like that. With all that being said, trying not to be biased, by paper, probably a 7. Just kidding, it's a 10, baby.
Plot twist. Yeah.
No, I'm sitting at a 7.
Okay. I think just your first 3 picks are extremely strong. The ability to have Magic Bounce is really good. And then some of the random immunities. I'd say 7 too.
I'm gonna say a 6. You get deducted a point for having Ambipom on your team.
What do you got against Ambipom?
His face is disgusting.
Dang. Okay. I'll remember that next time I want to use Ambipom. It's going to be named Blake.
Wow.
Oh, wait, no. I remember the deduction. It was because you didn't bring a Dark Terra Charizard.
Oh, TCG.
Charizard was not my original Terra Captain, and he was Fire, Ice, and Rock. Because I don't have any rock Pokemon on my team.
You don't need rocks.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, this about wraps it up for our final team breakdowns. So, first off, I
took 3 hours.
Only 3 hours to take. But no, I want to give a special thanks to the coach of the Charizard Champions, as well as Blake, as a surprise guest.
Yeah, the Shamudi Island Slow Kings, way back from the SDL. Was that the league name? DSL? I don't remember.
DHL, the Dickheads League.
DHL, that was it.
Every time I see...
Thank you for having me on. It was a very good time. I enjoyed this. This was nice as a refresher, just to kind of take a look back at what all the teams have done and just really enjoy. Obviously, I'm very thankful for you putting on this league and letting us all battle again. It was super nice to get back into this format, especially with a lot of friends that I haven't played with in a while.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. So, all right. Well, thanks again for hopping on. Thank you all for watching or listening to the video. Doing dabby things like Adam over there. So, all right. You guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and peace out.